Hello and welcome to Editing with My Wife, now with more chaos. My name's The Hooded Philosopher, and I'm here with Cheesy Loops. Cheesy Loops, what's this episode about?
This episode is us learning a new way to find our friends.
Oh, that is an interesting way of putting it. Right, your favorite Pokemon is Lapras, right?
Yes.
Why?
It was my favorite when I was a kid, okay? But I love that it is like the Loch Ness Monster inspired. And also she's pretty. I couldn't tell you why she was my favorite as a kid.
That looks like a little bit like a Loch Ness, you're right, with a special bump on its back.
Yeah.
A bumpy bump.
A boompy bumps.
All right, so we're on chapter 15, Friend Finder. So on the last chapter, we lost a friend just because Draylon got pushed over the edge by Force.
Yep.
Which is a person, not that the Force is what put... Anyway, Nathaniel fights Force, and Force loses the fight. And then they go inside to the castle, and Force makes up her mind and decides that they'll step down.
Yep.
And just get this over with. And hopefully they're right, and that Tresca's divine is bigger than Sloane, because Sloane is a pretty strong person.
Force is gonna do what she was created for in the first place.
Yes. Well, Flo was created then. Force is the original.
Well, is Flo the original anymore? Because the way it was talked about...
Oh, this is 14.
It doesn't seem like that.
Say that again?
Well, the way that Flo was talking to Force, it didn't seem like either one of them was the original. Because she's like River's original plan. They referred to themselves.
They referred to themselves in the third person.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are technically first-person view both, and they both have a second-person view, and they both have a third-person view built into their mind. Just the way they are.
They're just a confusing being.
They don't just talk to each other vocally, either. They have a deeper connection than that. It's not talking in the mind. It's more of a mental emotional connection.
Could they talk to each other?
They could feel each other.
Weird.
And what they would say is that fear feels like there's an absence of the person. Like you can't sense them. So when Force was all afraid, she disappeared to her in a lot of ways. Okay, but that's beside the point. Nathaniel thought about... I should probably say I'm starting the chapter. Chapter 15, Friend Finder. Nathaniel thought about the chances of their friend having survived the depths of the canyon or the waves crushing against the sharp rocks, knowing full well that his power was sapped as he was pushed. It didn't look good. He looked at the boy. How do you think we go about starting this hunt? The boy had his hands sat still as his mind worked. The glowing flower that Flo gave us, he said simply. Tresca pulled out the blossom. It didn't seem to be squished, even though it should have been in that small pouch. She handed the flower to Nathaniel. It felt like it floated a little above their hands as they passed it along. Then you are a hunter like myself, Force asked. Nathaniel nodded. Please allow me to help you do it. Nathaniel plucked off a petal, and it sparked at the disconnection, handing it to her, as he handed it to her. We should get ready, she said, grateful for the peace offering. There's a divination pool on the bridge, Flo exclaimed, walking to the door. They all followed her out of the main hall and then took a right down a high-walled hallway. After walking for a short time, a distant roaring came from deep below them as massive windows opened up to reveal that they were directly above the river. Its deep rumbling kept Nathaniel away from the edge. Ahead of them, the boy was tugging on Tresca's hand to get a better look. They got to the center of the bridge, a large pavilion with a wide round pool of water in the middle. Nathaniel walked over to it. The river below helps us see clearer, Flo explained. Force went opposite Nathaniel around the pool. He plucked off a petal for himself. The two of them placed their petals on their tongues, and then reality bent in an all too familiar way for Nathaniel. A chair had appeared behind him. He sat down. Across from him Flo did the same, like she was him in the mirror. Flo seemed to glow as wings burst out of her back. Focus, your mind is chaos, Florence urged him. Take a hold of the divination and let it guide you. Excuse me. He saw a strand of light come out of the pool, splitting between him and Force. Together, they reached out and grabbed it. The strand pulled them both into the pool. Out of nowhere, they were falling. The world was below them. The sun hung to their left, and giant icy cliffs to their right. Below them was his whole world. There was to the north a massive tower that looked like an ornate lighthouse without all the lighting on top. Everything came too fast for him to see anything else. He plummeted, even though he plummeted for what felt like an eternity. The sights around him became a blur before gently landing back into the chair where he was originally in. "Did you see the glimmer?" Forrest asked again in his head. "No, it all happened so fast, but somehow it took so long." She was across from him again. The strand of light sat in front of them, offering another trip. They reached out with their hands. Again, the world was coming at him fast, never seeming to get much closer, though. Falling and falling, Nathaniel tried to focus. The world started really coming fast. This time, he looked directly below him into the river. The river below him. He looked directly below him. The river was below him. The pavilion, a big red circle connecting two bridges. He looked above it. And the cracks and crevices were plentiful in the canyon. He saw all of a sudden, he saw Draylin standing next to him. "I'm right there," he said, pointing at the glimmer in the distance. It was a giant boulder flying through the air. He landed in his chair opposite Forrest, thinking aloud. "I saw him. I made the link." "Good. Are you ready to get out?" Nathaniel nodded. Mirroring each other, they jumped into the pool. Everything felt wrong when they came out of the top of the pool and went to sit in the chair. Nothing had visibly changed. Everything was frozen in the instant the wings appeared out of the glowing flow. Tresca and the boy stood near the edge looking in. Two small creatures made of light came out with small pouches. They held it open, expecting an offering. He reached into his pocket and retrieved 3 coins. One had a bowl of fruit on it, another had a bed, and the last had a skull and crossbones. The other side had all 3 coins held. The other side of all 3 coins held his profile. He placed the coin with the food in one, and in the other creature's pouch he placed the coin with the bed. They chittered and vanished with a flash. The water sprayed out of the pool with enough force to blast the roof off. Everything, everywhere, was filled with water, so he started to swim up. And when he reached the surface, Tresca met him with several towels and a dry set of clothes. The glimmer was stuck in his eye. Off in the distance, he could see the form of Draylin lying flat, outlined in gold, in the far below them and way to the south.
Woo! That was a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of description, not a lot of dialogue. And Nathaniel's very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It takes him a little bit to get wordy, but he does get wordy in the end.
Okay, so
Let's start at the top.
this time go start at the top. Because there's some things in here that are just, like, it was just so much that I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
They had a chance of a friend surviving depth of a canyon or waves crushing against dark rocks, knowing full well that his power was sapped when he was pushed. Glowing flower that Flo gave us. Pulled out the blossom, didn't seem squished. Yeah, it's a special flower. Of course it's not that squish. So Nathaniel and Force have similar personality types.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And Flo will forever remain a mystery to me. I don't know what she can do. It doesn't make any sense. She shouldn't even exist. That's
Maybe all she can do is make magical components.
She teleports them.
That's weird.
I think that because she's the good of River, then she won't ever misuse the power. She'll only use it where she feels she needs to. She is as good as Hannah. Like, that's the way I want Flo to appear. Is as awesome as Hannah was in the last book.
So, you say he swims up. Swims up from where? Because here they're just going to the pool. Are they going down to the middle of the pool?
Wait, what? You say he swims up, but where?
At the very end, he's swimming up.
Yes. So let's go down to the visions, because it gets crazy. Let's start with the beginning. Reality bent in an all too familiar way for Nathaniel. A chair appeared behind him. He sat down.
Mm-hmm.
And so he sits down, and across from him, Force was doing the same. Not Flo. That's bound to happen a bunch.
It's like your Hannah's and no H's.
Like she was him in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all clear, right? Mm-hmm. She's just exactly copying his actions all of a sudden. And as he sits down. But he sees Flo sitting on the other side.
Force.
No, this is Flo. On the other side of Nathaniel. I see. So behind Force, Flo seemed to glow and wings burst out of her back. Focus, your mind is chaos, Force urged. So that's a part of it. Mm-hmm. Like something's not right here, things are going crazy. Mm-hmm. And Force is seeing it. And so she explains, just take the hold of the divination, let it guide you. And then we go into that, what is actually the power. So he sees a strand of light come out of the pool. And it splits, so it's like the mirror, and it goes in both directions, right? It comes out of the mirror in both ways.
Okay.
And,
pulled them both into the pool. Okay, there it is.
Yes, so using the power, they went into the pool, and then when they were done, they went into the pool. Did you get that? That was probably part of the confusion, too, but that's a point of the confusion is a point of what's going on here. It's not supposed to be 100% make sense, actually. It's supposed to be a little bit magically confusing. What was your question?
No, you fixed it because I was curious how is he swimming out of somewhere? But that fixes it because I must have missed that. There's a lot going on, so I must have missed it. The strand pulled them both into the pool. It says right there.
And so he goes into the pool with the string, and he's falling. Right? And he's supposed to be what should happen here is he's looking out around, looking for some hint of Draylen. But what ends up happening is he's facing the wrong way the first time. And you don't know that right away. I think you can read it. There was to the north a massive tower. So in the north he saw the tower. And Draylen was to the south. So the first time he's facing the wrong way. And then all of a sudden everything just drops really fast, even though it seems to take a long time. And none of this is making any sense. And then when he hits the water, it's like he didn't have a chance to really do anything. So then, let's see. You can keep on here. We can actually do this. Right here.
And the strand of light offers them another trip.
Yes. So she asks, did you see the glimmer? Because that's how it works. And of course he didn't. It all happened so fast, but somehow it took too long. And then, same scene. She's again sitting in the chair across from him.
Yep.
And then the strand of light comes back out in the mirror and does it again. And they both reached out, and boom, all of a sudden they're in the water again and going down. This time he's falling again, but this time it starts fast. And he can't really focus on anything because it's all just coming so fast. And, it was all coming out so fast, so all he really had time to do was look at where the river was. And he saw below him the river, the crevices and cracks of the... What is that called? Canyon. And the red circle on the pavilion that is attached by bridges. Anyway.
So Draylen's saying, I'm right there.
Yes. Again, that's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
You see the glimmer, and then you have it. Nobody tells you where the glimmer is, but that's what happened. And it just gave it to him, basically. And then he lands in the chair. Blink is made. I have him. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And then... yeah, they're ready to get out. So let's actually go into that, because that's pretty confusing, too.
So they get out, they're in the pool. They jumped into the pool.
Yes. So mirroring each other, they're sitting in the chair and they leapt into the pool. Splash instead of grabbing the cord.
It's like you have this this saran wrap of water between these two two ideas, right? So you have the mirror world and the regular world, and the water is this like saran wrap, and so you jump through the saran wrap, and now you're on the other side, or a mirror. I guess the mirror is the best way. You jump through the mirror, you're in a mirror world.
Water is a mirror.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what happens.
I just totally. I understand. I understand what's happening
and
now.
So mirroring each other, they jumped into the pool. Everything felt wrong as they came out of the top of the pool and went back to sit in their chair. It just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And Tresca and the boy stood near the edge looking in. They're still there. They can still see him. And when he was getting out, he saw Tresca and the boy on his side, where Flo was on the other.
It just really gets chaotic.
Yes,
and then
that's the point. It's supposed to be chaotic.
He feeds the little creatures of light
the coins. He pays his due.
It's not free to do this.
No.
You must pay.
And he pays with, if you didn't get it, he pays with 3 coins. One of them has a bowl with food, with fruit, and then another one has a bed, another one has a skull and crossbones, and the other side is a picture of his head, basically. So it's his food, his sleep, his sickness, his skull and crossbones.
Right.
And he decides to pay with hunger,
food,
and sleep.
Yeah.
And then this is again, it should be very confusing. He places the coin in the bags. They chittered and vanished with a flash. Then water sprayed out of the pool. I guess I could just start with water sprayed out of the pool with enough force to blast the roof off. Everything. I should put that in there. Everything everywhere was filled with water. He started swimming to the top. So then he actually exits the pool for
it's almost like the water floated out of the pool.
Mm-hmm. And from the other people's point of view, he's standing there. He takes the thing, and then he's coming out of the pool all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know any different.
They don't see much.
No, they don't know anything that's going on. And now he has this glimmer of kind of Draylen's vision stuck in his eye. So wherever he looks, he can see it. It's a HUD.
Yeah,
he has some
it's
HUD.
a HUD. He has a HUD.
Which, AR, please hurry up and give us a HUD. I want a real HUD. Not with life or anything, but with like a bank account balance and the time and the weather. I just look at it through my glasses. Give it to me. All right. I think that's good, though.
No, it makes more sense the deeper I look into it.
And it shouldn't make a whole lot of sense anyway, so it's great.
Yes.
It's very jittery, confusing, and that's what's happening. That's how the power is. It's hard to work with. And Nathaniel's really good at it.
Yes. So Nathaniel's really, really good at it, and it's chaotic right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like he doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing.
Yes.
For reasons.
Yes, there is something else going on, and it will come up.
Yeah.
He's not good.
There's a reason why it's so hard for him now.
So let's finish this up.
Recap.
It's not a recap, it's a post-cap.
Oh, it's a post-cap.
You got
Well,
there's
no.
a pre-cap and a post-cap.
It is a recap because we're recapping. What
Recapping the
just
chapter we
happened.
just did. Yes. Which started with
them trying to figure out how they're gonna go about finding Draylen. And the boy brings up a good idea. I like how Nathaniel looked to the boy and was like,
He's very conscientious, isn't he?
yeah.
That's his character trait that gives him the specific power. Is his conscientiousness.
Yeah.
Were he to act differently, he would have different powers. Isn't that interesting?
Nathaniel gets help from his new ally. And then they take a dip in a pool. Oh. Chaos enters the divination process, and that took too long. ...
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for listening.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.